The Minotaur's maze is a cheese with 6 segments and 2 layers. It also has an intriguing maze on its side, but what really makes this puzzle special is it's hand-painted. Wait, what? Painted? Basically, every twisty puzzle is either stickered, tiled, or stickerless with colored plastic. And to be honest, when I hear a puzzle's painted, I imagine something along the lines of the Jing's Pyraminx 1. But the Minotaur's maze, along with 2 other puzzles you'll see in just a bit, transcends the line between puzzles and art to become an incredibly unique experience. Another cool feature of the Minotaur's maze is it's basically 2 puzzles in one. Of course you can solve it by looking at the entire puzzle, both the Minotaurs and the maze, but later in this video I'm actually going to try solving it looking only at the maze, and I think that's going to be much harder. But first, let's take a step back and check out where this puzzle actually came from. If you want to keep seeing unique 3D printed puzzles, like and subscribe. The mastermind behind the Minotaur's maze is Joseph Bencic in Canada, who has been creating these artistic puzzles for several years. I found his Etsy store and picked up the puzzles I liked the most. Now, let's free them from their cardboard prison. I'll be making full videos about the 2 puzzles that aren't the Minotaur's maze, but I'll still quickly show you them. The Clockwork Phenilium Molecule is a gear cube with a 12 color scheme, 1 color per edge. It's a little more difficult than a regular gear cube because the center orientation needs to be solved. As the puzzle's name implies, the painted gears look a bit similar to clockwork when they turn. I really like this puzzle's aesthetic, especially how the paint gives it more of a textured look. You wouldn't really get that with a sticker mod. The Creator Destroyer is a curvy copter with a space versus hyperspace theme. This puzzle is absolutely gorgeous. I love the art of its themes, and the chosen colors blend perfectly to create a stellar looking cube. This is also the most difficult puzzle of the 3. Joseph told me he hasn't even tried jumbling it yet. So, what's the process that goes into making a painted puzzle? I was very curious to find out, so I asked Joseph and he kindly went into detail about it. Joseph first creates a design based on the puzzle's shape and cuts, sketching it out. Here's one he made for an ivy cube. Then, if the puzzle's stickered, he has to remove the stickers and any adhesive residue from the plastic surface. Up next is preparing the puzzle's surface for its first coat of paint. This involves sanding the puzzle to the point where the plastic is so shredded that it no longer shines. Now it's ready for paint. Joseph first brushes on 3 coats of white primer, which will give the outer coats a solid foundation. He typically paints only one side at a time and uses multiple layers of semi-transparent paint to get the exact shades he wants. Once the art is complete, Joseph brushes on clear acrylic to seal and protect the colors, and finally finishes the puzzle by spray painting it with clear coat. And that's it! The end result is a magnificent fusion of puzzle and art, and it truly has a unique character. For the Minotaur's maze, Joseph wanted to make a maze puzzle and chose the cheese because he can make the maze loop all the way around the puzzle. He likes using mythology as subject matter, so he thought the Minotaur would be a good fit with the maze. You may have noticed that the internals aren't painted, so you can still see the internal plastic's colors mid-turn. This was an intentional choice by Joseph, since he has had bad experiences with painted internals. I agree with his decision, since any paint on the internals would have a high probability of impeding turns and eventually rubbing off anyway. My plan for the Minotaur's maze is to scramble and solve it using 2 different methods. First using the entire puzzle, and afterwards I'm challenging myself to solve it using only the maze, without looking at the Minotaurs. I expect the second solve to be much more difficult, so stick around and see if I'm right. All of that right after this B-roll. Okay, it's finally time to scramble the maze of the Minotaur. Let's do it. Okay, this looks like a good scramble. Now, before I start solving the maze of the Minotaur, let me show you how I can solve any cheese very easily. We can call it one weird trick to solve any cheese. So it'll solve the square 2, the square 4, the 2x2x3, everyone's favorite cheese. There's a single algorithm that'll swap 2 pieces on one layer and 2 pieces on the other layer. And just like that, you can see that we have 2 swaps of 2 pieces. And that pretty much lets you solve any cheese puzzle, even if it's a crazy one like the square 4. All you have to do is make sure that all of the white pieces are on the white side, all of the yellow pieces are on the yellow side, and then you can just keep swapping adjacent pieces until you get all of them. It's just a lot of repetition. But it also depends on how you approach the puzzle. Like for example, with the square 2, there's definitely multiple different ways you could try solving it. Such as you could reduce it to a square 1 rather than doing these kind of swaps. Alright, let's solve the Minotaur's maze using the entire puzzle. Let's take inventory and see what we've got already. I can see that this goes next to this. Let's see if the maze matches up. Okay, the maze is correct. So this might be right. Let's try and get the other nose piece here. So this one has 1 line crossing it, and this one has 2. So this is actually not the right nose piece. Let's look for the other one. It's right there. Let's bring it up. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so that one goes with that, and then this other one is the one that actually comes up here. I got confused for just a second. Okay, and up next, let's try and get the other eye in place. It's right there, the red eye. And this also lines up, so I think at the very least these 4 pieces are good now. So all we have to do is get the 2 horns. So let's bring these 2 pieces down and then find the horn that goes right next to them. Okay, so it's neither of these because these are both going the wrong way. That means it has to be one of those. So let's see if it's this one, I guess. It is, but that also breaks up the 2 pieces that we already had. So let's switch where it actually sits. So let's bring it down like this, and then bring that over and bring it back up. And now we can bring it down and next to this eyepiece without messing anything else up. So we can do that, and then come back up like that. And here we are, everything's done, and this other horn piece got done purely by luck. I wasn't intentionally looking out for that one. Okay, cool. So the red side is now all set, leaving us with just the black side. Now the black side, I'm going to be using the algorithm that I showed you earlier that switches 2 pieces on one layer and 2 pieces on the other layer, simply making sure that I keep swapping the same 2 pieces on the bottom layer. Okay, so what's the smallest amount of moves we can do in order to get this back to solved? So these horns have to be brought together. This eye is correct. So why don't we swap these and then bring all of this stuff together? And in order to make sure that it's obvious what I have to swap back, I'm going to keep swapping this nose piece right here.
So firstly, let's swap these two to bring the horns together. You can see that the nose pieces have been swapped, and now the horns are together. What do we have to do now? Now we have to essentially, I think, swap these two. So that means that's two swaps. We're going to swap these and then swap these. And then I have to bring that over there again. And finally, we swap these two pieces and these two pieces. And now we gotta match up the maze. Why is the maze not matching up? Did I mess this up? Oh no, I think I did. Wow. Oh, I see what's going on. These eyes are upside down. They have to swap with each other. Wow. I did not notice that. Alright, well, I'll just quickly swap them and we'll see where we sit. Okay, so we have a problem. If I swap these two, then this face will be correct. But then this face will be incorrect. So what I actually have to do is bring this piece all the way around the puzzle, and that'll be an even amount of swaps on this side. It's a little tedious, but thankfully this is only a 6-segment cheese, so it shouldn't take crazy long. Alright, last two moves, swapping these two and swapping these two. Okay, and once I've actually solved the maze of the Minotaur is now all solved. Excellent. It's definitely trickier than just a normal cheese. The fact that some of these pieces, it can be kind of hard to tell if they're positioned correctly, and also in other solves I've done, I noticed that sometimes multiple pieces can actually line up correctly in the maze, but then only one of them will come out on the other side being correct. So this puzzle actually has more tricks up its sleeve than you'd really expect it to, which I really appreciate. Anyway, let's scramble it again and solve it using only the maze. Okay, I've actually already tried to solve this puzzle using just the maze, and I gave up like 3 times. So what I want to do right now is show you an algorithm that I spent a little bit of time developing, and by developing I mean repurposing it from the 3x3x2. What it does is it takes a piece from the top layer and puts it on the bottom layer without disrupting the bottom layer at all. It will completely destroy the top layer, but the fact that it will just slot a piece in here without touching the bottom layer is still pretty valuable. So let's try switching, for example, this horn piece with this nose piece. So we do an R2, U2, R2, U prime 2, R2. So you'll see that this looks all crazy and screwed up, but this one horn piece is here, and the entirety of the bottom layer other than that is actually completely solved. And you can undo this algorithm just by repeating it. So that's an algorithm that I feel is going to be very valuable for this maze only solve. So let's get the Maze of the Minotaur ready. Okay, the Maze of the Minotaur is now scrambled, and it's time to solve it using only the maze. Sometimes I might get a glimpse of the Minotaur. That's fine. I assume you trust me enough not to use it to solve the puzzle, because I'm not going to defeat the purpose of my own challenge. Okay, so the first thing you should know about this puzzle is some of these parts can match up to more than one other piece. And in the specific case of this pairing, you see where it's 2 lines that are kind of wider apart from each other. There's actually 3 separate cases where this pair appears to be the case. There's this one, there's this, and there's another one like this and this. And so that really tripped me up in my previous failed attempts. Conversely, there's actually only one pair of 3 lines. You can see right there, there's 3 lines, and there's only one other instance of there being 3 lines, which is this piece. So right off the bat, we already know we have to pair that up. So let's do that. Okay, so we know for certain that these two pieces are correct because there's nothing else with only 3 lines. Now this one with the centralized 2 lines, there's a couple of these. There's this one, this one, this one, this one. It's not really unique. And this one with the single line, there's a couple, I guess. I mean, we could try putting in this one. So there's this one. Are there any others? Yeah, there's also this one. Oh wait, no, actually that doesn't match. That's really interesting. Are there any other pieces with just a single line like this, or is this it? No, no, no. Okay, now we have to look upside down. No, no, no. Okay, so actually this has to go here. That's really big. From my previous solves, I didn't realize that. Cool, so now we know that these 3 pieces are all good. So now let's see what can match up to here. This is a single line a bit closer to the center of the puzzle. No, 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 no. Okay, is it just this one? Let's try that. Let's bring it over here so that when we bring it up, it goes in the correct place, ideally. Yeah. Okay, I think that has to be right? Because there's no other pieces, as far as I could tell, that match up right there. We can double check. No, I think that's actually it. Okay. So we currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. That's really clutch. I didn't encounter that on my previous solves, unless this is a trick and I missed something and there's not going to be any pieces that can fill in this final space. So this is going to be 2 closely spaced lines on either side. Let's see if we can get that. This only has it on one side. No, no, because it kinks like that. No. And no. Okay, so actually, this isn't right. Something's not right here. Oh, okay. I just realized that I didn't intentionally put this piece here. I thought that I had it solved all the way up to here, but this piece just kind of happened to be here. So now let's try that algorithm that we just made to put some other pieces that match up like this here. So this one would be a good example. And remember, this algorithm will mess up the entire top layer, but keep the bottom layer intact except for swapping these 2 pieces, which is really important. Okay, this matches up. This, let's see if there's anything that can go here. We need a single line closer to the edge, and then 2 lines right in the middle. So not this one, not this one, not this one. This one looks right. Let's try and bring it around and see if it actually fits. So we'll do the algorithm to put this into here. This cheese is already a little frustrating to align, and now you can imagine I'm trying to make sure I don't see the top and bottom layers. That doesn't make it any easier to align, so just bear with me a little bit. Okay, so what I failed to notice is that this is actually going the wrong way. The 2 needed to be on this side and the 1 on this side. That's fine, no biggie. Let's keep looking around the puzzle. No, 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 maybe. Let's bring it over first and double check. Okay, so this does look promising because the 2 need to be on this side and the 1 needs to be on this side. And obviously when you switch these pieces around like this, it's going to flip them. So that's gonna go right there. So let's do the algorithm onto these two pieces. Okay, I think we have one layer. If we start from this piece, we have a match, 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 and that's it. Now, does this guarantee that the first layer is solved? Actually, no, because, like I said, there's a bunch of different pieces that have specifically this pattern, and who am I to say that there's no combination that can be wrong but still look right just for one layer? So we really won't actually find out if the first layer is completely solved until we try and permute these pieces. So what I'm already noticing is these pieces with 4 lines, those are gonna pretty obviously go to the other pieces with 4 lines. There's 2 per layer. Do they match up with each other? They have to, because, well, if the first layer is right, because right here they're next to each other. So that means, actually this one doesn't go here because this doesn't match. So it goes here. Then that means the other one, which is here, has to go here. So why don't we start building that? Because those are pieces that we know where they go. So if we build them together and put them here, then that means the rest of the puzzle will be just less of a mess. So let's swap these two. This is going to get interesting because remember, this algorithm is going to swap 2 pieces on one layer and 2 pieces on the other layer. So I have to pick 2 pieces on this layer where it's pretty obvious to tell that they're swapped or not. What I'm thinking is I will swap these 2 around, the ones with 4 lines. Now we just have to swap these 2 and these 2. It's funny, they line up like this and they'll still line up, but they're just going to be swapped. Okay, you can see that they match up right there, so I can confidently say that the first 2 pieces of the second layer are in place. Now I have to decide, what side do I go? Do I go left or do I go right? Okay, let's take a look at this side. What can go here? We need 1 line closer to the edge of the puzzle. So that would be... Does that exist? I don't think that exists. And that's really bad. That means that one of the pieces from the bottom layer should be on the top, or multiple, because otherwise how would this even happen? Wait, then yeah, what am I freaking out about? This goes there. I thought this puzzle was playing tricks on me, but maybe I'm playing tricks on myself. I'm going crazy from this thing. Okay. So let's try and bring this thing here. Is that it? Okay. That's good, that's good, that's good. I just now realized that I've only been looking at these connections, but I should also be paying attention to this. So for example, I could have seen that this connects to that like that. Okay. So following the same logic, this kind of looks like it goes here, honestly. And then this kind of looks like it goes here, because this would connect to this and this would connect to that. So that could be a home run right there. Let's try that. Cool. Now we have to remember that these 2 are screwed up. So let's put them back in the right spot. Right like that. Okay. So that's good. Good. Is it? Just put... I'm gonna assume that's fine. Okay, that's lined up. That's lined up. Okay, so I think we now have the situation where everything is correct on this layer, and we have 2 pieces swapped here. So that means we have to pick one of these pieces and bring it all the way around the puzzle. I guess let's just choose this one with the 4 bottom lines. Alright, this should be the last swap. That to there, and these two. Is that it? Okay. Before I look at the Minotaurs, let's double check that, at least from my perspective of solving the maze, that I did that. So this is good, and this is all good. Okay, now let's see if we did the Minotaurs. We have the red one, and we have the black one, so that was a success. I really thought we had lost it, where right after solving these 2 pieces, I couldn't find for the life of me this piece that went here. I don't know how, I must have looked past it like 5 times, but I'm glad that in the end I found it and crisis was averted. In conclusion, I've really enjoyed solving the Maze of the Minotaur, which was hand-painted by Joseph Bencic of Canada. This is definitely much more fun than just a regular old cheese, and it's actually kind of funny that this is the first real cheese that I've ever owned. Joseph makes high quality items, and I highly recommend you check out his Etsy store if you'd like to check out his product selection. Links will be in the description below, and you should know that he doesn't repeat anything, so if you do buy one of his painted puzzles, it's going to be the only one in existence. Alright, let's bring the camera up. Did you notice earlier in the video that this is a different setup? To be quite honest, I'm not too happy with how the camera angle turned out for the solve earlier. I definitely still need to work on this setup to make it a little bit more comfortable, but I will say that the lighting here at the very least is pretty good. I really like these new LEDs that I got. To be quite honest, some of the editing in this video was actually preparation for my next video that I'm going to be releasing. And that one might be a while, because I can tell you right now it is going to be the biggest video that I've ever made for this channel. And simultaneously, I want to have a lot of other stuff ready by the time that video's out. If you want to get more frequent updates from me, I do post on my Instagram irregularly, but obviously more than here. So that could be another place to check me out. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching, whether you're a newer subscriber, older subscriber, not subscribed, consider subscribing, I don't know. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you at some point. Goodbye.